nothing. He can't do.
Listen, he's doing his job. Don't be an idiot.
He can't do nothing.
This tourist is about to make a big mistake, but more about that later. In this video, we want to show you what happens when you mess with the wrong people. You will find the most curious people in this video. It will be spectacular, so stay tuned here at Wisefool. First, we come to a moment that shows that you can often get away with more in certain social positions than in others. We are talking about the American judge, Dennis Reinecker, who was on his way home from work last summer. On his way home, he drove too close to a police car and harassed the police officers by honking his horn unnecessarily. When the police officers stopped him shortly afterward, the judge got out of the vehicle in a rage and couldn't believe why he was being waved out.
Sir, go back into your car. I'll be with you in a second.
You better check the registration on this plate soon, mister.
The officers then called the station and noticed that the motorist was a senior judge. Fearing consequences, they let him drive on, even though he had disregarded the traffic rules. We continue with an argument that makes it clear that famous show hosts like Jimmy Kimmel can't say everything they want on their shows. In 2014, the host played a game on his late-night show that involved reading offensive comments from the internet to the guest. The guest was actress Sofia Vergara, who became world famous mainly for her role as Gloria in Modern Family. After the two read each other's rather funny comments, it became too much for Vergara in one sentence. However, she let Jimmy Kimmel know pretty clearly what she thought. But see for yourself.
Sofia Vergara, has anyone checked for a penis?
Next, we come to a curious moment, created in the tourist resort Surfer's Paradise in 2013 and went viral worldwide. The video's main protagonist is the Australian street performer David Moulda, who was actually about to perform as a parked robot. Until a somewhat drunk passerby ran into him, he sabotaged Moulda's performance by poking Moulda in the eyes and licking his finger in his ear. At some point, Moulda's appetite went into overdrive, and he decided to teach the troublemaker a lesson, which then went viral. However, the matter was not settled because the video became a massive hit on YouTube, and Australian television stations became aware of the story and reported on the incident. We continue with a young man who can almost be called an all-purpose weapon, Gigaguru. This young man calls himself a ninja, and not without reason, because Gigaguru has been doing sports since he was a little boy. His parents enrolled him in a taekwondo school when he was just 4 years old. Since then, he has been practicing martial arts continuously. But of course, he is not only involved in this martial art. At 10, he did Muay Thai, and later switched to karate and Krav Maga. However, this was still insufficient for Giga, so he spiced up his training program with acrobatic elements. For a while, he even dedicated himself to parkour running, and thus increased the flexibility of his movements. It is precisely these movements that make him recognizable as a ninja. Gigaguru's moves are spectacular, and his physical condition is just madness. However, some haters claim that his acrobatic elements are useless in a real fight, and that Giga is just a common show-off. But if you consider that Uguru performs a whole series of punches in just a few seconds, it is very difficult to prevail against this powerhouse. Let's continue with one of the most dangerous Shaolin monks ever. This is Shi Yanming. He was born the 7th of 9 children and came to Shaolin Monastery at 5, where he was one of the youngest monks. There he was taught kung fu and other traditional subjects. Since the young monk won many martial arts competitions, he became one of the members of the delegation invited to America in 1992 by the American Kung Fu Association. However, Shi Yanming did not even think of returning to China. After he finished his performance, he left the hotel at night and took off. Since 1992, he has taught this martial art to hundreds of people, including many celebrities. Thanks to his incredible skills, Shi Yanming has appeared several times on television and in some movies. There have been many press articles about him, including one in National Geographic. It is even reported that he can lick a red-hot shovel. It's about more than just people, and not messing with the wrong person. This clip shows how dangerous it can be to provoke even supposedly harmless animals like a billy goat. After the goat attacked the woman, a man wanted to rush to her aid and fight him. However, this only goaded the goat further and further, and he attacked more often. Ultimately, the buck defended its territory and immediately beat several people to flight. As promised, we now come to the consequences of attacking a queen's guard. Because even if these guards look pretty harmless at first glance and only move in an emergency, they are, in fact, real fighting machines that are perfectly trained. The Queen's Guards, whose real name is Grenadier Guards, have a long tradition and have been guarding the British royal family since 1656. Since they protect one of the most influential families in the world, their training is one of the most challenging security training in Europe, and you better not mess with them. We continue with a camera shot that shows that you should think twice about where you park your car. In this case, a parking parking offender blocks the driveway of a family home for hours. The house's resident first tries to find the driver usually, but has to resort to a more drastic method. Using a tow rope, he simply pulls the strange car onto the street and makes room for himself. Only when the police arrived a little later, the wrong parker also comes back and leaves the street. Moreover, the officers give a ticket for this action. Now we have a moment where a passerby fought with a YouTuber, the American Danny Duncan, who is very successful with over 4 million followers. Due to his success, he bought an office in Florida some time ago, where he installed a charging station for his Tesla on the wall of the house. However, in June this year, a strange woman thought this was a free charging station for everyone. When she complained about being filmed at the store, she insulted and threatened Danny Duncan. A short time later, she also returned with her boyfriend to give Duncan's employees a piece of her mind. However, since she was filmed the whole time and the video was later uploaded to YouTube, she quickly became an extensive online laughingstock, and everyone saw that she was wrong. The whole thing seemed quite uncomfortable, and she returned a month later to apologize. A little over 10 years ago, this is the face you'd see if you fell on the wrong side of the law. Retired SWAT officer and Marine Corps veteran Tony Sentman Knott is a terrifyingly intimidating individual. From the rippling bodybuilder physique to his proficiency with firearms, this is one guy you don't want to mess with. Even though his days of service might be over, Tony still keeps up his grueling training regiment full of high-impact weights, core-burning sit-ups, and uniquely intended. Strength and speed is one thing, but when you combine that with killer technique, you have someone that's definitely not worth messing with. Samuel Eriksson is a freestyle martial artist from Sweden that somehow has the holy trinity of fighting talents, skills, speed, and the striking power to send opponents flying. He got a feel for the guy working the pads when Eriksson winds up a flurry of kicks, but whether he's assaulting pumpkins or setting new records on the arcade punching machine, the only place you don't want to meet this popular fighter is inside the ring. While they may have invented automatic firearms over 100 years ago with the right skill set, good old-fashioned revolver will get the job done. Cisco-mastered gunfighter real name Gil Guerrera Jr. has been lining up targets with his 6th shooter ever since he was 14. Over 4 decades of experience means Cisco is incredibly good at what he does. In fact, he's a 10-time fast draw world champion. Not only can he fire out 5 bullets in under a second, but he can hit all 5 targets with extreme precision. Still not scared? He doesn't even need to see you to double tap with 2 guns. He can do it blindfolded, but it's not just revolvers that he's mastered. If it's got a trigger and a loaded chamber, he can unleash chaos in the blink of an eye. While traditional samurais have all but died out, there's at least one warrior who's bringing the deadly tradition to the 21st century. Isao Machi is a modern-day ninja warming up with a game of real-life Fruit Ninja. Isao goes on to cut coiled straw mats like they were made from paper. His stripes are so fast that not even a powerful robot can keep up. But the real test comes when baseballs are pitched out in 160 kilometers per hour. In less than 2/10 of a second, he's able to slice the baseball in half midair. Mastering the nunchaku is a skill possessed by the lucky few. Introducing Yuan Youngwei, a master of the nunchaku so deadly, he'd make the little dragon proud. Not only are his maneuvers lightning fast, but he seems to be perfectly in control. And if you thought nunchucks were just for show, Yuan proves just how powerful a single strike can be. But it's not just nunchucks that make up Yuan's arsenal. This pro martial artist is also pinpoint accurate with throwing knives too. Kevin Taylor has some of the strongest hands in the world. Nicknamed Iron Fists, Kevin turned his freakish talent into a career while smashing records at the same time. He's not smashing more than 500 concrete blocks in a row. You can find him punching through car windows or breaking thick glass demijohns, but his signature performance really kicks it up a notch. He sets the concrete blocks on fire before smashing them. Just when you think he does it all for fun, Kevin's Iron Fists have earned in 3 Guinness World Records and counting, blessing Awadaboo. When it comes to keeping an online following entertained, nobody can top the antics of blessing Awadaboo. The Irish influencer wasn't satisfied with just his 2 Arnold classics in 4 International Federation of Bodybuilding titles, and so Instagram was where he turned. Amassing and ardently following of a few thousand can usually be attained by anyone with a good enough physique, and at 245 pounds of lean muscle. Awadaboo has without a doubt got that under his belt, but to get into the millions like Blessing, you've got to have a little something extra to keep people invested. The bodybuilding Adonis regularly creates loads of gut-busting sketches and viral videos that garner millions of global views, like the time he realized there was a CCTV camera recording him at the grocery store, and took to flexing his competitive poses for the enjoyment of whomever was monitoring the feed. Still having a sense of humor, isn't it all going to confuse anyone watching these videos just because blessing Awadaboo can and will make you laugh? There's no mistaking that this man is an absolute beast, and with a build like his, nobody is going going to try making him the butt of the joke anytime soon. Tim Mann. There are plenty of skilled martial artists all over the world, but Tim Mann stands out as a true warrior among the rest. Born in Switzerland, Tim started training martial arts at the young age of 8, and he never looked back. He's mastered a handful of different styles since then, including Taekwondo, Wushu, American, and Thai boxing. Placing third as the reigning Taekwondo champion in his home country of Switzerland should be more than enough to convince most people that this is not someone they want to be messing with. After developing a fascination with Hong Kong-based martial arts films, Tim began studying gymnastics and acrobatics, as well as starting a career in cinema himself. It wasn't long before his hard work and talent got noticed, and it wasn't long before Tim officially got to live out his dreams of working full-time in cinema and perfecting his unmatched martial arts skills. Edward Hawthorne. Evil is powerless when good knows no fear. So says a caption of a young man named Edward. We would add that evil would be powerless if it only had to fight men like Edward. He is a member of the U.S. Army who was recently promoted to Sergeant Major and has recently joined the Pittsburgh Police Department. Edward is also the father of 2 adorable daughters and is almost a superhero. Although his exploits in the fight against crime have yet to be captured on video, there is plenty of footage showing him training. And after watching them, you are sure that the criminals will run away as soon as they see Edward appearing on the opposite side of the street. It's best to turn yourself in to the police right away, because this guy is not to be trifled with. On the internet, Edward is called the strongest cop or even super cop, and we believe that internet users have never given such an appropriate nickname before. His skills, fantastic ability, and strength might even be the envy of comic book heroes. Pittsburgh residents should consider themselves lucky to be protected by this admirable man. And that's it for our video and moments when someone messed with the wrong person. Write us in the comments about which moment you found the most curious. Otherwise, like this video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to Wisefool for more exciting content, and we'll see you next time here at Wisefool.